I don't hate the echoes of the Nikon ZF. I want to use it raw. I find putting on a grip, it doesn't feel the same. I should get right into the review of the Nikon ZF. Someone is supposed to pick up the camera later today, so I'm trying to get this review out quickly and I can be able to hold it in my hand in a little bit too. I like what Nikon is doing with their 1.4 range, the 50 and the 35 so far. I think that's amazing that they have super fast, little bit lower quality, cheaper priced lenses on offer. They are small and lightweight. No other camera company is doing this as of now. And I really thought when I saw those lenses, like, I give Nikon a fair shot. Hopefully investing in those lenses as soon as I can. But unfortunately, I foreshadowed that already. That did not work out for me. First off, a few positives. What are the reason? Also, the reason why I chose the ZF for myself, as that only one camera that could do everything. So I was thinking, at least. First up is the build quality. Is very well built. It's super solid. It's good looking. It has the brass styles, the round EVF, the styling. I think Nikon really killed it with that, and I have nothing negative to say except the flip screen. I thought that was that was a weird decision for a camera like this to put on a flip screen. Even though it's nice to close it and you still have the leatherette on the back screen. It's nice, protects the screen at least, and if you train yourself, you can actually only use the screen for going in the menus. There's actually, build and feature-wise, not too much else I would wish for. Could be an almost perfect camera. Complaints about the build though is this floppy battery door. I don't know why they didn't make that nicer with the latch. I saw the Z5 II has the same still, which is a shame. I would give the Z5 II, I would like to try, see if they actually made some improvements in the usability department. Also, those annoying little loops, I wish we would get rid of those, like Lumix did, like Canon did for a long time, and of course Leica also. Except the M's. The M's probably no one still have those annoying loops, but that's a personal gripe of mine. I'm not too sure what the consensus there is. I still think non-flippy screen would have been better, would have made more people happy, mostly because I get to that later. It's not really a hybrid camera. I think this is mainly a photo camera, and video really falls off hard when you really want to use it as a hybrid camera. So I actually think vloggers or content creators should not buy this camera. Definitely not. But yeah, I explain why I say that in more details later. Quick shout out first. Like, another reason why I really thought this Nikon ZF would be great, and I got really lucky when I got it secondhand. It came with this Voigtlander adapter, the closed focus M mount adapter, which apparently is the only one that focuses properly to infinity, but I only had this one, so I can't attest to that. This adapter is fantastic though, especially I never used my M mount lenses with the focus disclose. This really takes away one issue people have with M mount lenses in general, and you just open up a whole new genre of photography where you can just quickly chuck a few macro shots in there as well, or almost macro. I'm not too sure like what the magnification gets. I assume that's different with any lens anyway. this Voigtlander 35 color scoper focuses down to 0.7 already. Like not the classic ones from Leica who only go down to 1 millimeter, 1 meter minimum focus and distance. But yeah, you get really, really close with this adapter, which like I really hoped with air mount lenses. I used only manual lenses for the first 2 months I had this camera, which was relatively pleasant, that experience with only manual lenses, but still not flawless. Not flawless because of the Nikon menus. The Nikon menus are one of the worst I probably used in any camera I had so far. And I had the old Sonys, which I probably was less experienced when I used those old Sonys and was not as fussy and picky. But yeah, if you think you can use this camera and keep the screen shut, the flippy screen shut, because you will not go into the menus much, you definitely have to think again, because you will go into the menus a lot. Actually, one of the issues I had once, which is like partially user error as well, I had the screen closed, the screen did not turn off, and I forgot to turn the camera off, of course. Usually not a problem. Any camera would shut off by itself if you don't use it for a while. The ZF on the old firmware for some reason didn't shut off. I'm not sure exactly what I did or what the reason was, but yeah, it got warm to the touch. Then I realized it was still on, checked it, battery was almost drained as well. It was like a half an hour, maybe longer. Maybe it was an hour-long dinner, and by the end of that dinner, the battery was almost dead. Camera warm, not shut off. Frustrating as hell. I checked the sleep settings afterwards, of course. Now I have it on the lowest time possible, which is, I think it's probably just 30 seconds, like really, really short. So make sure that it always turns off. Shouldn't be like that though. Like I said, I have a tendency to forget to turn my camera off. I think I left a camera turned on for weeks. Not for weeks, for a week or for a couple of days. When I picked it up again, wanted to go out shooting, it turned on, was still on the on switch, battery barely drained, no problem. Big problem with the ZF though. I had a similar issue with the TT Artisans, the 75mm, my first and only autofocusing lens. At the beginning, it was continuously focusing the whole time. I had it on AFC, obviously. Even though I wasn't really shooting, was just focusing wherever without touching the shutter button. Also drained the battery like crazy, and yeah, I had to switch. In the beginning of my photography, my session, I had to switch back to the manual lenses just to be sure I have enough charge to finish my day, enjoy my day. Again, afterwards, I kept it on AFS the whole time, and there was no issue with that. I think possibly too with the firmware 2.0, there's another menu switch you can change that. Like I said, on most of the, like I mentioned, most of those things could be user error, definitely. But yeah, I never had those user errors with other cameras, which is why I definitely give half the blame to Nikon there. Yeah, like little things like that. Also, like changing like your focus mode. Everything takes a little bit longer. You can probably customize everything to the perfect degree how it works for you. But yeah, I was fairly quickly over all of that, and I didn't even want to learn more about the camera, as ignorant as I am. All right, next up, the Ergos. I don't love the Ergos, but I definitely don't hate them. I used the FM2 a lot before the film camera, and I generally enjoy a flat body like this. I guess why I have the S9. I had the Leica M262, and yeah, I quite enjoy that usually. It's strange that it is so weird on this camera. And it took me quite a while to find out why it is much worse on this camera than on other cameras. And it is because it's a digital camera with lots of function buttons and menu navigation, and yeah, that becomes very tedious, even with smaller lenses. Well, it doesn't matter. Like, obviously, it only gets worse with a heavier and larger lens. But yeah, and a grip will not really resolve that issue overall if you still have to twist your fingers to hold the camera. Really, like, there's like this little rest here where you could fit your thumb in between, but yeah, I think it's because all the amount of times you have to go into the menu and hold the camera differently, and then the ergos really become an issue in just a short photography, or in just a short photography session. If you want to do video, God forbid, it obviously only gets much worse. As generally, if you do video, I think you have to deal with your camera settings a little bit more. Switching back and forth, you definitely have to check the menu more often than not. Which I mentioned before, I refuse to put a grip on it. If I would love everything about the camera except the ergos, I would get a grip and that would resolve it. But it's not just the ergos. There's so many little things that really sum up with this camera to make it an not as enjoyable experience. And the shooting experience comes really before specs and handling of the camera. But I mean, the handling goes hand in hand with the user experience. But yeah, there's like many issues I find with the camera. Yeah, like I said, you could get a grip, but it also would mess with the aesthetics, for me at least. And there's fancy leather half cases that maybe add to the aesthetics of the camera. Yeah, I'm not going that far anymore. As I said, I'm hoping that it will be picked up by tomorrow and I will be free of this camera. Other than that, I think, like, if you really only do photography with this camera, you have your settings dialed and you're aware of the ISO limitations, or you figured out your workaround with the ISO, auto ISO, and with firmware 2 with the C on the ISO wheel, it becomes a much nicer experience overall. I think, yeah, for photography, the button layout is great. Everything works well in photo mode. I think you can definitely make it your only photography camera if the ergos don't bother you. But I wanted it as a hybrid camera, and I think that's when it really, really falls short. My first and biggest issue is, even though it has that movie switch, the great movie switch every camera should have as well, it does not save the settings for video. Yeah, if you want to use it as a hybrid camera, I think that's when all the shortcomings really start weighing up even more. It has the movie switch, it has the flip out screen, like mentioned, but the movie switch switches into movie, but it does not save your buttons, your custom buttons. If you like, even if I wanted it to only use it for video, it would not save the buttons. Like, I changed it in photography mode, the front button, this one here, that's the lens mount. This front button, the easiest to touch, the white balance button by default. Yeah, I changed it to my focus peaking button. In photography mode, it works fine, but if I switch into video mode, it says in the settings it's on focus peaking still, like in photography, but it will default back to the white balance button. So essentially, I cannot use this button alone for videography purpose, which, yeah, I know, like I said, I brought it into a camera shop. I tried someone to look at the menus too. Maybe again it's user error, but also again another issue with the menu, another small problem that added up. Furthermore, like the Nikon lock N-Log, I thought was quite hidden. Like you find it eventually, but if you want to switch in and out of N-Log, not a fun experience too. It's not fast. I don't know if you can set it up to move faster for you. Or Nikon expects you to, if you know about N-Log, to always shoot in N-Log, and that's it. But yeah, it's another move into the menu, another hurdle to shoot video well or switch between photo and video. And yeah, also very annoying. Obviously, it does not have shutter angle, didn't get shutter angle with firmware 2.0. I feel like it will not come to the camera ever. You know, the Z6 and above will or have it already or will get it. I'm not so sure if the Z5 II has it, but yeah, I assume that this camera will not get it, or if it gets it, it will take another couple of months to half a year, which I also am not willing to wait anymore. And lastly, and most importantly, when it comes to the hybrid aspect of the camera, like this Lumix S9, I can give any of my friends after quickly switching from photo to video, or just showing them how the exposure comp dial works, and they will be able to shoot video for me quickly, quite well, right away, so as long as they can keep the camera steady enough, which another thing Lumix does certainly better than Nikon. Yeah, no chance to do that with a Nikon, with a ZF. Like, it takes me switching from photo to video a couple of seconds to have it set up the way it's meant to be. We're not even going that far to keep the shutter speed close enough to the 180-degree rule, as you would have to move it into 1/3 of a step and then use the front and back dials to have it on a 50 shutter speed. Little things like that. I really find it too frustrating to use it for hybrid purposes intentionally, I would say. And I can't believe that it's not more talked about on all the YouTube videos. Yeah, overall, really unpleasant experience for video. Oh, another problem with video mode, which definitely is user error, is the zebras. I find those are terrible to set up too. I would have to learn Nikon's way of dealing with zebras, as the percentages are different. Again, on the Lumix, if you put zebras on a 100%, if you see zebras anywhere on your screen, you know you blew the highlights. Yeah, again, I would not be able to put it on a function button on the camera, so I would have to go into the videos, turn on zebras, find out which are the right zebras for which situation, and then expose that way. Or I mean, I could use an histogram, but I always find that takes away real estate on the screen. Yeah, so that was my negatives about the video functions of the camera. Other than, lastly, I like that it has the black and white switch. Really cool, fun addition for video and for photos. Not enough to overall sway me back to use the camera more. Also, I found weird is that the RAWs look significantly better, not significantly, but look quite a bit better on Nikon's RAW software, which makes sense, I guess. But I don't like to use other software to do my photo editing and my catalogs. I'm on DxO Photolab, which I'm quite happy with overall as a program to as a program for editing and for my photo library. So yeah, it's kind of hurts a little bit if you know that your files could be nicer if you jump through yet another hoop and use another program. Yeah, unfortunately, it was not even that much fun to use for the time being. I put pictures throughout the video. I cannot think of a photo I'm like necessarily super proud of. Yeah, it's just how it is. It's not the camera for me. I think there's plenty of photographers, especially with vintage glass and adapted lenses, who will have a lot of fun, or people who are not as fussy as me. I see with my other videos, I go through cameras like other people go through underwear. So yeah, I'm definitely not. It's probably not the most popular opinion, and also not the opinion everyone should have or would have when it comes to the camera or cameras in general. Yeah, I still look for a camera I can have for a long time. I want to stick to not just a camera brand. Really, I want to stick to one camera body, and ideally a set of lenses I'm happy with too. I think I'm not as fussy when it comes to that, as long as everything works with me and not against me. I think I had written down somewhere too, like the main issue with the camera is it feels like it works against you more than it works with you. I shot with a fully manual Leica M camera or the FM2, like I mentioned, film camera, and I feel like taking a photo with it, that was easier than with a camera that can be fully automatic, can do everything for you, and is still kind of weird and not as intuitive and not as fast. All right, I rambled on for too long. Let me double check if I forgot something. Yeah, it's not the only camera I could use. Like if I would have the camera only for photos and nothing else, I'd rather have a Leica M again. No, significantly more expensive. But if you want to have a strict photo camera with adapted lenses, you can buy any old digital camera and slap an adapter and an M class on it, and you're probably also better off than with this camera. Oh, that's too negative too. Yeah, if you want just a photo camera, just a photo experience, I also think you'll be better served with the Leica rangefinder. That's feels better, or even a Fujifilm camera. I haven't used a Fuji in a long time, but I felt like the buttons and auto ISO and everything was a bit smoother than on this one. But the build quality on the ZF is most likely better than on the newer Fujis, I would say. So I'm just finishing my ZF video, and I found another thing I hate. Look at this. I plugged a microphone in, and the microphone kind of blocks a third of the screen. What the fuck, Nikon? Really? You call this a hybrid camera? Forgot to turn the camera off again, and it's empty. Yay! Another frustrating thing with the ZF. If I use it just as with an EVF, it turns off. Only works when I put my eye on there, and when you try to shoot fast on the street, I feel like this takes always a second. And that's sometimes enough to miss the shot or enough to irritate me. And I couldn't figure out if there's a way of keeping it on the whole time. I think we reached, like, image camera bodies kind of plateaued. They could slap a better sensor in it or higher megapixel sensor. But yeah, I think the problems with the camera are only in the menus and in the button layout and the ergos, not in the sensor and wonder what the processor can do. Processor is incredibly fast. Here and there it's a bit laggy, but other than that, I think it's processor-wise, it's probably smoother than all the Lumix cameras I've used so far. But yeah, there's a joystick missing too. Why is there a joystick missing? Completely, like, no foresight in designing this camera, I find. There's like stuff missing that should be there and stuff there that really doesn't have to be there, like the flip out screen and all those the mode switch on the side. Like, I don't know, there's been better implementations already. There's nothing's been innovated. It's just made worse from what's already there. Anyway, I think I tried to do one video for the S9, a review for the S9 with the ZF as my next video, and see how that looks. I did some videos which I overlaid on this video, but I want to do like a talking head like this with that, even though I don't have a lens that probably will work well for this. Anyway, thanks for listening. I rambled on for, I think, more than 30 minutes. No one listens to the end of my videos anyway. Thank you. Cheers. If you put on a grip, it feels less. You feel less while shooting. I shoot raw. Let's see if I can make that work. I'll try again later.